Hello, and welcome. Hello again, and welcome. This is my little review video of the Battle of the Binary Stars, some pros, some cons, and then it'll end with a short rant about problems I have with Discovery. So, this is a new task force operation. It launched this week after being delayed a little while, based on the Battle of the Binary Stars, based on the first pilot from Star Trek Discovery, comprised of the first 2 episodes. Which is a bit of an odd choice to focus so heavily on stuff from season 1, because that's the stuff that people hate the most about Star Trek Discovery. And the first 2 episodes are singled out, which this battle feature thinks singled out as particularly bad. Oh well. So, pros. This fight actually wasn't so bad. It was pretty fun. It took me about 15 minutes. Simple, straightforward, drop your ship in and blast everything in sight. Nothing else I really had to do, just make sure I was in range of enemy ships. It's pretty good. Simple drop in, fire, forget. No funny business, really easy for pugging. There's just no special thing you got to worry about doing other than just blasting everything in sight. This looks like it would be really good for testing different builds and checking DPS, kind of like the Japori system. It's just a couple minutes to just burn everything down. So that is really good. I enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I did. A lot more it'll seem like I enjoyed it when I get through the cons, which I'm going to just go into. So the Discovery themed visuals, I don't like Star Trek Discovery. At least with the middle of the battle, you don't spend a whole lot of time looking at the Klingon ships or the other ships you're doing, so it's like, okay, I can grin and bear it. Because I play usually really zoomed in, so I can just see my ship filling the screen being the hero ship like they do on Star Trek, so I don't spend a lot of time looking at the other ships. Kind of my next point about what I didn't like, you are forced to play as a Discovery starship. Your ship is reskinned to a Discovery ship, and I did not like that at all. I paid money for my ship, about $30. Okay, not this particular ship I use. For this Galaxy class ship I actually got as a free, well, please come back to the game gift in 2015. But my other ships I paid for. And most people pay for the ships. Yeah, and just, I didn't like the ship design they used. Discovery ship designs are okay. They would make sense about 40-50 years after Voyager, a militarized Starfleet that, between constant threats from the Borg and Dominion, decided they needed more compact, mission-specific ships, smaller rather than larger jack-of-all-trades ships like Galaxy class. Also did not like that skills that don't fit with the Star Trek Discovery theme are actually locked out and unusable. I did this task force operation with the High Galaxy class starship USS Athabaskan, which is equipped with a saucer separation, because I really like doing that Galaxy class. It's a lot of fun. Unfortunately, that particular skill was grayed out and I couldn't use it. I was curious about how they would handle the skills like saucer separation for Federation ships that are available, and yeah, they just won't let you do it. Yeah. So, continuing on. Overall, though, it's not so bad. I would like it a lot better if it wasn't Star Trek Discovery themed. I don't understand the thing about why we need historical simulations to learn how to fight Klingons. In Star Trek Online, we've fought multiple wars within a 2-year period, including one against the Klingons. Like, it's supposed to be the same race. They still use D7s too in this era. It's like, is there something behind the scenes you're not telling us there, Cryptic? Why would we need to do a simulation to fight Klingons when we just finished a war fighting Klingons? Sense. This makes none. They really should let you see your own ship in this. It's been established in Star Trek Next Generation that holodeck characters will see you as their own universe if you so program it. It's like, just do the same thing here. We don't have to see a Star Trek Discovery visual theme to go in there, especially with all the flack they've gotten for the Star Trek Discovery themed content. It just seems like it's kind of rubbing your nose in it. 3-week event of this task force operation gets you a special device, a new Discovery theme Klingon device. I think it's very similar to Nimbus Pirate thing. There's a couple of these already in the game. They're really handy, really good for getting you out of a tight spot, pushing with a little extra damage when you need it. For Star Trek Discovery fans, this task force operation will be a lot of fun. You get to play a big climactic battle that the series opened with, and you get to see here's Takuma in the battle, and hear what's her name, Chinese captain, Giorgio, that's it. So if you're fans of these characters, it's really cool. You had to fight alongside the USS Shenzhou, or if you so like, have your pug just hang back and watch it get blown to pieces, which might be fun to do once in a while. Let's see if I can figure a way to do that by myself. If you don't like Star Trek Discovery, however, this really just rubs salt in the wounds, because it not only forces you to play Discovery-themed content, it reskins your ship to look like Discovery-themed content. Which is, again, good for fans of Discovery, because that means more ships are coming for them to play this game as they like. However, for people like me that don't like Star Trek Discovery, it's just... I would have enjoyed it a lot more if I didn't have to play as a Star Trek Discovery ship. But, all in all, it was better than what I was expecting. Having just finished this summer with the Crystalline Entity and Breach events back to back, I don't mind this. This is a lot less irritating than those ones got towards the end of the 6 weeks of those events combined, the 3 weeks total. I was just getting really burnt out on events, so this one is just simple, straight, burn everything down, no funny business, no big boss you gotta burn down, no flying around like an X-Wing fighter through tunnels or anything like that. That is irritating. It's just show up, a big ship battle, burn it down. Kind of what Star Trek kind of what Star Trek Online does really well, which is its ship battles. When it focuses on starship battles, it's awesome. Should do more of these kind of things, but with different factions. Imagine a big Federation Jem'Hadar fight like we see in Deep Space Nine. We should figure a way to do something like that. That'd be awesome. So, overall, it's not so bad. A few things I didn't like about it. Maybe focus on a little too much, but whatevs. So, if you want to tune out now, I am going to go into my rant about Star Trek Discovery. Okay. So, Star Trek Discovery, Disco, STD, whatever you want to call it, I don't care. A lot of the problems, especially the Star Trek Online content, really drives home some of the flaws of Star Trek Discovery. Which is, see, I was cautiously optimistic, because when the Kelvinverse, there's like, I'm not going to get into that, but there's a whole whack of problems around that. But Star Trek Online made that work by going deliberately out of the way to say it's a different quantum reality. What that means is that there was never any split, where every point where Kelvin timeline split off in Prime as a separate quantum reality. It was always a distinct and separate universe that never crossed over with the Prime canon at all, which makes sense, because even it still got continuity issues before the Nero showed up. I was hoping for something similar with the Battle of the Binary Stars and Discovery themed content, but nope, just pretend that it is Prime canon and there are no continuity errors, defects, or address whatsoever. It's Prime, and just accept it, even though nothing in the timeline matches up. This war, they keep mentioning Star Trek Discovery, this war is so historic, and these characters are so historic, we gotta figure out how they think, and blah blah blah, but these characters are never mentioned again. These events are never mentioned again. And it's not like it's not like they're just not mentioned in TNG 110 years later. It's like the original series, which is supposed to be which is Discovery is supposed to be in the universe, according to CBC, the same universe, the original series. But, no one remembers this war. It's never mentioned again. People on the Enterprise crew, the Enterprise senior staff, fought in this war early in their careers, and they're never mentioned again. And they do like 3 or 4 episodes of Klingons. There's an episode, Errand of Mercy, where the Klingons and the Federation actually do start a war. I believe that's the first thing in the episode is that war has been declared. And they go to Organia, planet Organia, and to try and establish that as a base for the Federation and Klingons. And no one mentions that 10 years earlier the Federation fought a war with Klingons and lost badly. It's just, we're going to war? Okay, that's it. No one's worried about anything. Which, knowing now what we know about the Star Trek timeline, that the Federation lost most of its territory and most of its Starfleet 10 years earlier, it doesn't make any sense. Like, there's a part in the episode where Kirk is really gung-ho about fighting Klingons. And this is the man that watched the Klingons decimate the Federation 10 years earlier. In Discovery timeline, Captain Kirk is a lieutenant on the Farragut. He not only would have been fighting the front lines of this war, he personally watched star system to star system fall to the Klingons, and he doesn't mention this to anything or anybody. Scotty would have fought in this war as a Starfleet officer. Never mentions anything. Go on like this, like the 3 Klingons, main famous Klingons from TOS that appeared on Deep Space Nine. Captains Kor, Kang, and Koloth. They're all D7 commanders, original series. There's certain things you can apply for them. You can apply from this. The D7 was the Klingons match for the Constitution class. Top of the line, their best and most prestigious ship in this era. So as a captain of a D7 battlecruiser, probably would have started their Klingon career, say, about 10 to 15 years earlier. They fought in this war faced in Discovery. And I'm not sure, but I think some of their houses are actually seen in Discovery, but that's a whole other thing. Core especially, Klingons in general, but Core especially will not shut up about their victories, especially when they're dealing with races that they have long conflicts with, races that they've beaten repeatedly in the past. They always mention that. The Klingons in Discovery fought a war where they conquered half the Federation, and they never mentioned to anyone ever again. Yeah, there's a thing at the end where they manage to pull victory out of their behinds, Federation does, but you still wouldn't stop Klingons from bragging about, oh, you needed to cheat in order to win, because we actually beat you hands down on a 1-to-1 fight. Takuma is never mentioned again in Starfleet history, in galactic history, any history. This war is never mentioned, and it's just not irritating the right word, but bizarre. Like season 2, maybe something season 2 coming up, which will kind of clarify this. Like maybe there's some kind of events with these red portals or whatever do that manages to race out the timeline and erase large portions of continuity. Wait and see. Which really drives home. It's a lot of the stuff around this new Discovery content just really drives home the continuity issues. Like this, the other task force cryptic added for Star Trek Discovery for Star Trek Online was the attack on Starbase 1, which is somewhere on the edges of our solar system. In Star Trek Deep Space Nine's Season 7, Episode 23, I believe, the Breen attack Earth. One of the first things that's mentioned in this episode is Martok, a Klingon, saying that the Klingons ever attacked Earth. Yeah, now it's reasonable to assume from that they didn't just mean, oh, we attacked the outer fringes of the star system but never attacked Earth. The way he says that is like, yeah, they never did anything remotely similar to that. They didn't just not attack Earth. They didn't attack the outer fringes of the solar system. So it's just really glaring differences like that. That's like, how do you reconcile? I don't know. That's something to think about and do in another video. So the point of all this I'm getting to is that CBS swears up and down that Star Trek Discovery is prime canon, and that there are no actual continuity errors. And the fan base has been very vocal in pointing out all the continuity errors. Things like Spock doesn't have a black sister, and it's not just that he'd kept her secret from Kirk and all them. He also kept Michael Burnham's secret. So Spock also kept Michael Burnham's existence secret from Sarek. Sarek kept Michael Burnham's existence secret from Spock, because in Discovery we see a bunch of stories about Michael Burnham's background that involve Spock, particularly when he went to the Academy. When the episode, which is from the episode Journey to Babel, we first hear about Spock and Sarek having problems and not speaking for 20 years. Yeah, Michael Burnham doesn't appear in in any version of that story except the one told in Discovery, and that story is told a lot, and it's just weird when you watch the show and then go to other versions of the show and see these events referenced again, and she doesn't appear in any of them, and it's like Spock not only keeps her existence secret from everybody, but he keeps her existence secret from his own family, and his own family keeps her existence secret from him. It's hard to wrap your head around. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I would like an explanation for that, but I was hoping Cryptic would provide something simple and easy, like, it's a different continuity. But to get my point, I think it is a different continuity. What I think is going on is that Prime Canon is whatever CBS is doing right now. The Discovery Universe has characters, has Kirk and Picard and all them, Cisco, Janeway, but they're not the ones that we saw on television screen. The events that they live through will not be the same as the ones we see on screen, because those particular versions of the characters have effectively been decanonized. So the original series, the events of the original series happen, but they do not happen the way we see them filmed on screen. If that makes sense. Picard exists in the Discovery Universe in the future, but it is not the Picard that we see in the next Star Trek Next Generation. It's a different Picard with a different history from a different Federation that went through things that Kirk didn't do. Because the original series was the middle of Starfleet's golden age of exploration. The Federation goes in the universe with wide-eyed naivete about how the universe works, but that doesn't seem to gel with the dark and grittiness you see in Discovery. Okay, let me know what you think. Leave a comment below, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.